Hello, everybody. Okay. I am having issues. Um, okay. Give me a second here, and I will be right with you. My, I took my. If you were with me last week or saw last week's Monday mini medicine card readings, you saw me outside, and I had brought my phone holder thingamabob with me, and so I'm having to readjust it. Ah, okay, let's see. Why is it not? How odd. That's weird. Give me a second here. Hello, everybody. Welcome. There we go. I need to. This is Henry, and he is going to be helping out by sitting on. Okay. You good, Henry? There we go. So Henry is the ballast that is holding down my phone holder thingamabob so that I can actually do the video. Hello, everybody! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Monday night mini medicine card readings. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to do some readings. So if you're new here, oh yeah, I see a whole bunch of people already. Thank you guys for joining me. If you are new here, all you need to do is say yes in the comments, and you will get a one card reading from the medicine card deck with the beautiful totem animals. Yay! Um, and let's see here. Let me write people down. Hi, Aaliyah. I was gonna ask, but I'm just gonna put you guys down each for a card. Aaliyah and Joe. Anna, you're back. I've been thinking about you. Yay. And Sylvia. Hi, Joe. Yay. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Again, if you don't know who I am or what we're doing, I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to do some medicine card readings. So come on in and say hi. Say if you would like a one card reading. Thanks, Sylvia. I just seen a shirt. Um, if you would like a one card reading, I've got 4 people already, so I have 2 spots left. The first 6 people to say yes get a one card reading. And if you are not one of those first 6, no worries. All you need to do in that case is choose a number between 1 and 6 and listen to that card. And I promise, even though it may be aimed at somebody else, um, it will include whatever message you are meant to hear. That's just the way spirit works. So, and my only request for watching my video is if you would please share my video. I've been doing these videos for 6 or 7 years now. Holy crap. On Facebook Live, and I just recently switched to YouTube to try to expand my voice, step out of my comfort zone, grow. And so if you would help me out by sharing the video to help other people find me, there's a beautiful reciprocity. And let's go to our first card, shall we? All right, so our first card is for Aaliyah. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Streetlight people. Oh. All right. Aaliyah. Card number 1 for Aaliyah is antelope. I almost said, part of my brain wanted to say antelope, the other part wanted to say unicorn, and almost out of my voice came unicorn. It's the pronghorn antelope, number 1, in reverse. So, Aaliyah, antelope is about sacrifice. And I know most people, as soon as they hear that, they're like, oh crap, what do I have to give up now? Right? But it's not that kind of sacrifice. It's not a martyrdom. It's not to see how much of yourself you can give up before there's no more of you left, right? In fact, it's not about giving up any part of you at all. It's actually about sacrificing what isn't you. In other words, what is it? What are the things, what are the, might be mental patterns, behaviors, attitudes, people, situations that are just habitual, that really don't add anything to you. They're not necessarily negative. It's not necessarily that they make you a bad person, and you're not bad for having them. It's more a matter of intention, right? And it's like, you're perfect the way you are. Wherever you are, whatever is going on is perfect, right? No judgment from the universe, no judgment. But if you want to grow, if you want to become more, because there's always, as long as we are in physical bodies, there's always more of us to become, right? Until we are, Jesus, or, on that level of mastery, Buddha, and we are, we have room to grow, right? And some people come into this life just to be in this life, just to do the routine and just to experience what that's like, and that is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if your heart is saying that there is more available, if your heart is saying, if you are feeling feelings of frustration, if you're feeling depression, if you're feeling afraid, etc., all of those kind of feelings, that's the part of you that knows that there's more, right? And so the sacrifice I'm talking about is giving up those feelings, like Abraham Hicks talks about, when you feel those negative issues, when you feel those negative feelings coming up, rather than buying into them and going into them and being woe is me, and allowing them to become a barrier or an obstacle to your growth, recognize them as being a pivot point. Say, okay, when I'm in this situation, when I'm with this person, when I think this way, I feel crappy. And so obviously, whatever this person, the situation, these thoughts are, they are not true. And then you use those feelings rather than buying into them, rather than going, what's wrong with me? How do I fix this? Which just, screws yourself deeper into the problem. Using those moments as a pivot point to say, this isn't working. I am going to go that way, right? It's recalibrating. It's like taking your attention away from the things that are making you feel less than and moving in the direction of your joy, the things that make you feel fulfilled, right? And so it's giving up. This is about sacrificing those people, situations, thought patterns, beliefs that leave you feeling that crappiness, that less than, that guilt or shame or whatever it is. Because you are perfect. You are a divine being. What can you do wrong? Right? If you are living fully realized, I know there's a word I'm looking for, but I can't find it. Fully realized is a good one. So fully realized, fully enlightened, fully whatever you want to call it. I just lost my sentence because I was focusing on the one word. Allow that to draw you forward, that feeling like whatever makes you feel fuller, whatever makes you feel freer, whatever makes you feel lighter, that's the direction to go, right? And there's things that we hold on to. There's things that are counterproductive, right? There's things that we do that are really not very productive or very healing for us, or keep us in a loop of toxicity and all that kind of stuff. And this is about sacrificing whatever it is, kind of focusing when we're hurting, when we are when we're feeling crappy, we start to focus on those things that make us feel crappy, which only that whole thing of, energy flows where consciousness goes. And so we start looking at what's wrong. And when we do that, we're basically looking backwards. We're looking at where we came from. We're trying to fix where we are by fixing what's already past, right? And what I'm saying is to let go of that past, sacrifice the past, sacrifice all of the false beliefs about who you were, who you are, who you're supposed to be, and let your heart guide you forward, not backward. Move toward your fulfillment. Because like in my shamanic classes, one of the exercises we do, one of the things I teach is we do a shamanic journey to meet and to experience being our true selves, right? And the way that I was taught, our true self, it's not your higher self. Your true self is who you are. It's basically your blueprint. It's who you are with all your potential realized. And that exists. That is what draws you forward. That's why you get frustrated with things that are less than. That's why you get frustrated with yourself when you're not living up to something, because you have that blueprint, that full potential of who you could be, drawing you forward. Is that making any sense? And when we do that journey and people get to meet their true self and actually merge with their true self to see what it feels like to be fully manifested, fully who you are meant to be. Um, it makes everything else just kind of fall away. Um, and so it's like holding that. Not, oh, the video's over. Darn it! I thought it was longer than that. And I can't switch it. I'm gonna just. I don't have my remote. I've been using my phone for my remote, but if I go off of this screen, I'm afraid I'm gonna lose you guys. So, okay. We're turning the TV off. Sacrificing what isn't us, right? There was a pretty image, the birds singing, but the only truth, the only reality right here, right now, is you. You are the only thing that is true, that is real, right here, right now. Everything else is a reflection. Who you are in that perfectly manifested, fully potentialized self is divine, and everything else around you, that you is not dependent on the world around you, on appearances, on people, on what things look like. As I say that, I look around my disaster zone of an apartment, at this very narrow view from in front of my phone, and everything behind it is like Armageddon. So, and so it's really it's really so, and this is something that I am experiencing right now. Just that admitting that to you was kind of a step out of my comfort zone. And at the same time, having to realize that that mess is not who I am. Like, just because I have trouble keeping up things, just because the world is a mess right now, and I am a mess right now, doesn't mean I'm any less perfect, that I'm any less divine, or that I've done anything wrong. Who I am is not dependent on how well I keep up my apartment, right? Now, hopefully, as I start to come out of this, I'm kind of in this death, rebirth, initiatory phase of my life at the moment. And my world around me mirrors that by being a mess, by being confusing. But when I can let go of the ties, my thoughts on how, okay, I'm a mess because my apartment's a mess. When I bring the source of that back to myself to realize, number one, it's okay. There's no judgment. There's nothing wrong. There is nothing morally wrong with having a messy apartment, right? I love the Wiccan Reed. I think that's what it's called. In Wicca, the Wiccan version of the Golden Rule is, "And it harm none. Do as you will." I'm not harming anyone by having a messy apartment. My surroundings, my environment does not define who I am. And that's what I'm kind of getting to. So this is about looking at your life, looking at what's holding you back from being that perfect self, from being your true self. Because the world around you is your creation. And it's always changeable. That's the thing. It is not permanent, right? We tend to sit, like, I could sit here and go, holy crap, my life is a mess. It's never going to get any better. It's always been like this. I'm just worthless. I can't keep up with myself. I can't take care of myself, blah, blah, blah. And you can hear how that's spiraling, right? But it's all changeable. This is temporary. This is a phase. It's not permanent. I'm not always like this. My life has not always been this chaotic or this much of a mess. And so it's like, okay. And as I focus more on myself than letting my the outside world define who I am and how I feel, I've been gaining more energy, more space, like more mental and emotional space, to actually start doing something about it. So I hope that's making sense. Dreams are a wish your heart makes. Exactly. We tend to be, whenever you're optimistic, or whenever, I mean, I get this all the time. It's like people ask me about what's going on in the world, and I'm not denying the horrendous things happening, but at the same time, I can see how it is leading to something better, etc. And I'll say those things. I'll be kind of optimistic, and people are like, God, I hope so. Like they're afraid to believe in something they can't see. It's like, and if you're too, I've been accused of being a fluffy bunny, as if I'm being unrealistic and expecting the best of people and believing the world is based in love, that love is the fabric of the universe. And if that, it just reminded me of a Frasier episode. I can't remember what he was saying. He was like, it was basically putting in Fluffy Bunny instead of what he was saying. It was like, well, if living this way makes me a fluffy bunny, then a fluffy bunny I be. It's like, if that's what you are, then be that. Sorry, it's like random Frasier flashback. So know that everything around you, whatever news you got, whatever situations you are in, number one, it's only temporary. It's doable. It's changeable. It's malleable. And like I always talk about, some of my favorite affirmations, one of them being, only good can come of this. Because when you start to think in that way, only good can come of this, no matter how bad it is, it's the seed of something better. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. So, all right. Moving on to card number 2 for Joe. And if there's anyone else that's come in the meantime, I have 2 spots left. All you need to do is say yes in the comments, and you will get a 1 card reading. All right. Or maybe we'll just have my version of it. I was going to say it might be kind of a short night, but the videos tend to be the same length. It's just a matter of how many cards I'm talking about. If I have to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours talking about 4 cards, that will happen, versus squeezing 6 cards into that time. Anyway, so Joe, card number 2. Now I have that song in my head. Thanks, Aaliyah. And get you back. Got a whale of a tale to tell you, lads. A whale or a tale of two. Dreams are a wish your heart makes. Dum, ba-da-bum, ba-bum. Raised on Disney. All right. Okay, Joe, card number 2 is Squirrel. Squirrel. Squirrel is really about resourcefulness. To me, what this says to me is that either you've already or you're in the process of kind of shifting your perspective from one of well, kind of like what I was just talking about. You're welcome, Aaliyah. Switching that perspective from one of seriousness to play. You know, one of my favorite quotes is from Oscar Wilde when he said that life is too important to be taken seriously. And be squirrely. Be squirrely. It's like you're moving from a place of being all serious and concerned and kind of tunnel vision of how is this going to happen? How am I going to make this happen? Where are the resources coming from? To opening that field, opening that perspective, and allowing things to come. And it's basic. It's just, how do I put this? It's when you believe in miracles. It's when you open your mind and open your heart that you make space for miracles to happen, right? It's kind of like a watched pot never boils kind of thing, where I got this problem. When's it gonna fix? Where am I gonna get the money? Where am I gonna get the money? Where am I gonna? You're like focusing so hard on one thing and how that thing has to be fixed that you basically your frequency, right? If we're talking about vibration, your frequency comes down and bottoms out at the frequency of the problem, right? And at that point, there's no solution. Like Einstein said, like you can't solve a problem with the same energy that created the problem. You have to expand beyond that problem in order to find the solution, right? And the thing is, like John Lennon said, there are no problems, only solutions. And I think he was quoting someone else, but I don't know who the original one was, so I'm going to stick with John. But when you're focusing on joy, when you're focusing on what, like I was saying earlier with Aaliyah, you know, when you're focusing on on your true self, on being who you are, of following joy, letting joy be your compass. Joy is what raises our frequency, right? And so you have this problem down here. And all of a sudden you let go of that problem. Look, squirrel! And your heart lifts as you're watching the squirrel play, right? Your frequency starts to come up. And all of a sudden from up here, oh wait, that's not really a problem. Look, that right there is going to take care of that, balance out. It's not even a problem, right? Or the squirrel hands you $100 bill or something. Who knows, right? Miracles. But it's in that raising the frequency to joy that reveals the answers you've been looking for. Does that make sense? And we always think if we're not hard at it, if we're not nose to the grindstone, then we're not doing what we're supposed to do, right? And joy is a reward for doing the hard work, etc., etc. All those stupid puritanical values, right? When if we just do things from joy, if we just I remember, I don't remember the exact scenario, but Norman Vincent Peale, the author who wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, I read a story about him and that he was trying to write a book. He was in the middle of writing a book. He had these deadlines, he had these things, and and he was just at this block. He just couldn't think anything more. He sat there and sat there and sat there. And he couldn't come up with anything, and nothing was happening. But it was a beautiful day out. It was like winter time. The snow was falling. The sun was out, and he resisted it for so long because it's like, I gotta keep working. I gotta keep working. Finally, he took his dog out for a walk in the snow, and it was so beautiful, and his heart lifted so much that like the whole next chapter just flooded into his brain because he had let go of that tunnel vision. Got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, and actually answered the call of going outside, taking his dog for a walk. It was so beautiful, and literally moving toward beauty. And as he was walking out in the snow, it was wide open, feeling a gratitude for such a beautiful place, for having his dog with him, for the crunch of the snow beneath his feet, etc., that like the next chapter just flooded into his brain. And so it's like joy is the answer. Surrender is the answer. There is never a time, how do I put this? I'm trying to paraphrase Martha Beck here, but there's never a time when a state of anxiety is better for producing solutions than the state of love, of surrender. She said it so much better, and I don't know that that's exactly what I'm trying to say either. But there is no situation where being tightened down, being in a state of anxiety is a better place to be than a place of letting go, openness, feeling like receiving, sense of receiving. There is no situation that the outcome would be better from being in a place of anxiety than in a place of openness. And so it's like joy is the answer, because it's from that joy that lifts you above the issues, above the problems, and gives you a wider perspective, right? That's going from that scarcity mindedness of closed down tunnel vision to abundance thinking, where you see all kinds of solutions. You see the connection. It's non-linear. Um, and it's the same, when we just basic law of attraction manifesting thing, right? It's like you set that intention, you visualize, you focus on that, whatever it is, and then you let it go. Because your job is not to make it happen. Your job is to hold that vision and then open up and allow the universe to get you there or to bring it to you, right? That's what I talk about, the cosmic GPS system. You can't get there from a place of anxiety. I mean, you can, you eventually will, but it's like you plug in the destination in your GPS. It tells you to go a block and then turn right. And you're like, I don't know about that. I don't know. And you're like, I don't know. You're looking for other ways, or you're just not trusting it. So you go ahead and then, hi Renee, welcome. And you're like, I'm going to turn left instead. Zoom. Like, eventually you may get there, or you may never get there from that state of anxiety, of closing down, of tunnel vision, and trying to make it happen, not trusting the universe, not trusting that this omniscient power that created everything, that orchestrates the sun, that can warm the earth and ripen grapes, and that power it doesn't know what it's doing, right? It doesn't. How can I trust that power? All it ever did was create the universe. All it ever did was create order out of chaos, right? And made everything work, and nature, and how can you trust that? Right? Renee, I've got a couple spots left if you want a card. All you got to do is say yes in the comments. So, in other words, this is a validation, Joe, of you're doing it. You are shifting. Awesome. I got you down. You're doing it, Joe. I've talked about Martha Beck's example of the shackles on, the shackles off feeling, right? If anything, if you have a choice, if you've got a choice, and one way makes it feel like the shackles go on, the other way makes it feel like the shackles go off, which way do you think you're supposed to go? Oh, well, I got to do the hard work. I got to put in my time. I got to be a peon. I owe myself to the, no. The universe gives us our passions and our desires and our joy as a compass to know which way to go. So follow that joy and play. I just saw this video about a guy, he was in his 80s, and he was like, he looked like an Olympian athlete or something. And his mind gets sharper all the time, because he was like a little kid. He was out in his yard and he had all these things. He would throw knives. He had a knife throwing station. He had other places where he had all these puzzles. He's always playing. Oh, let's see if I can walk this tightrope. He had these tight ropes and stuff. And so he was always playing. And he said that he noticed that because he's been doing that, his memory is sharper now than it was in his 60s or 50s, or as it ever had been. And it was that whole play, like, ooh, let's see if we can do this. Oh, what if I can do that? I wonder if that, I wonder, right? Curiosity, that curiosity, that's the fuel to enlightenment. That's the fuel to fulfillment. It's the fuel to the best, your best life, right? And like Abraham Hicks says, joy is the path of least resistance. And it's the path, it's like the path of least resistance is how we get to that true self I was talking about. So, good on you, Joe. All right, card number 3 for Anna. All right, card number 3 for Anna is grouse. Um, grouse is about the spiral dance. Grouse is dancing to the beat of your own drum beat. Excuse me. It's about recognizing your own rhythms, honoring your own rhythms. And it's not altering your rhythms for the sake of someone else's comfort, right? It's kind of, I don't think this ever occurred to me, but it's like you have your rhythm, and then someone else comes in with another rhythm, and they fit together, right? And otherwise, there's other people that are like, slow it down, speed it up. No, you have to get, like, they're slightly off your rhythm. It's like, you need to come into my rhythm. It's like, no. You have you have a unique frequency, a unique signature that is yours and yours alone. No one has ever existed with that same energy signature. Nobody ever will. And so your only true responsibility is to maintain that frequency, right? It's like in the orchestra of the universe, right? Everyone has their own instrument, their own voice, their own part to play. And when it works in harmony, it's beautiful. But if someone is trying to keep up with like if the woodwinds are trying to keep up with the brass or vice versa, and the flutes are trying to be trombones and the, whatever, then it's not going to work, right? An orchestra works because each instrument or each voice has its own unique part that feeds all the other parts. And if one of those parts was gone, the whole thing would collapse. I talk about grouse as the spiral of life, and the spiral is one of our oldest, if not the oldest, sacred symbol we've got, right? And it's the spiral. It's the Fibonacci, is that the word? The golden mean, that spiral. And it's like that spiral is in everything. From the biggest super galaxies to solar systems to storms to pine cones and seashells and flowers and DNA. It's like that pattern is reflected in everything. So that spiral is what connects us to everything. But within that bigger picture, we have a unique place in that spiral that upholds and supports the rest of that spiral. And so it's our job to find our own rhythm, our own drum beat. And like I always point out that red part on his neck there, that's an air sac. And there's one on the other side as well. And when they're doing their mating dances and dancing in their spirals, those air sacs blow up bigger than his head. And so it's about letting your true colors show, about being true to yourself, right? To thine own self be true. Because only in that truth is there space for everyone else to be true to themselves, right? And going back to that exercise, like when I have my students journey to meet and to merge with their true self, one of the things I do is instead of, experience that in the journey time, in non-ordinary reality, I always have everyone in the at one point still merged with their true self to open their eyes and to look around and see what the world looks like from the perspective of their true selves. And there are people who will see colors they've never seen before or different things. And then it's like, and they'll look around at each other. And it's like, if I have a class of like a half dozen, say, in this tiny little room or whatever, it's like all of these people are in their true selves. They're expansive, unlimited true selves. And yet there is space here for everybody. I just saw 4747 on my timer. I don't know what that means, but it seems significant. I'm going to have to look that up later. Only when you are in your true self, only when you are true to yourself, is there space for everyone else to be themselves. Otherwise, that's where enabling comes in. That's, gosh, why can't I find the words tonight? Codependence, that's the word I was looking for. Where you're like, you're not living up to your full potential because you're not sure anyone else can handle it. Oh, how are they going to react? Oh, that's too much to ask of them to rise to their full potential, so I'll play down mine. It's like, this is dance. This is dance your dance. Sing your song. Let your true colors show. Because only when you are true to yourself, only when you are living your heart, when you're living your truth, can you be sure of well, I'll say there's no gray line. There's no room for gray areas, right? You know who you are, you know where you end and they start, etc. And the thing is, living up to your full potential, not that we ever reach that in this lifetime, but that same choice and that same potential exists, with that same divinity exists with everyone around you. And so to do anything but your best, truest self is to validate other people's laziness or lack of imagination or whatever you want to label that. But you're holding yourself back for the sake of not knowing how other people will handle it, is allowing others to stay in their illusion, right? We didn't come here to maintain the status quo. The status is not quo. We came here to shake things up, right? I don't know how many times in the past week, the story of Dr. Wayne Dyer and the scurvy elephant has come up. If you don't know what that is, there's this, Dr. Wayne Dyer would tell this story about how he came home from school one time when he was little, and he was crying, and he's like, "Mommy, the teacher called me a scurvy elephant. I don't know what that is." And his mom didn't know what that was either, so she called the teacher to find out what was going on. And the teacher said, "I didn't say scurvy elephant, I said a disturbing element." And so he was always like, be the scurvy elephant. Be the one, not out of destruction, not out of vengeance, not out of anything like that, but being yourself is a rebellion in a world that tries to box you in. The only way to rebel against the reality that tries to box you in is to be as free as you possibly can. And you're doing it. I think you're starting to feel those rhythms. You're starting to, hi, Kit Kat. Say hi to the people, Missy. Hi, people. This is Kira. Yeah. It's not easy, but I think you're finding your rhythm. You're finding, and when someone steps in and tries to dance with you, who's out of rhythm, it's even that much more frustrating, right? And then you're like, do I keep dancing my own dance, or do I slow down, or do I change the rhythm to, go with their step? It's like, don't change. Don't go changing. Try to please me. Keep going. Be yourself. It's the most radical thing you can do. Okay? All right, card number 4 for Sibia. Give me 1 second. I've got the fan blowing. I'm sitting here sweating, and the fan is blowing in that direction. So give me 1 second. All right, that should be a little better. Oh, that is much better. All right, card number 4 for Sivia. And if there's anyone that came in late, I still have room for one more person. Is there anyone that came in later wants a card? All you need to do is say yes in the comments. All right. Don't go changing to try to please me. Da 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 da. Oh, da da bum bum. Ba da bum bum. I love you just the way you are. Da-ba-da-bum, da-ba-da-ba-bum. Whoa. Ha ha ha! Sivia. So I don't know. I don't know if the cards were were you could see the cards, but I'm shuffling the cards and this jumped out, came up in reverse. So your card number 4, is actually grouse in reverse. Um, so everything I was just talking about, but it's like in reverse. Grouse can be kind of undervaluing your own worth, just thinking like feeling like you're just a cog in the machine. There's no real it's just me, what's the point kind of thing. And so it's about seeking out all those things I was just talking about, finding your rhythm, dancing with abandon, finding your true self, being your true self unapologetically. Yeah, that's hard, huh? Um, but like I said, that spiral, right? The orchestra that is the universe. It's a spectrum of frequencies, right? And and it's interdependent. Every frequency is interdependent on all the other frequencies. And so you remove one frequency and the whole thing collapses. That's how important you are. Um, so it's really about finding your groove, really focusing like every day, at least finding one thing or doing one thing or indulging in one thing that makes your heart dance. And the thing is, so kind of along with what I was saying earlier, it's so easy for our own drum beat, our own rhythm, our own song to get drowned out by the cacophony of the world around us, right? And so you spent your life learning dance steps that didn't suit you, moving at rhythms that were not harmonious with your own circadian rhythms. And so you're tired, you're worn out, you doubt yourself because you can't possibly live up to the expectations of the world because that's not who you are. There's no way you can fill that role. You can't because it's manufactured, has nothing to do with you. There's no way you can ever become that person that the world wants you to be. You're overqualified. And so it's like learning to find your own rhythms, because when you move with your own rhythms, rather than getting tired out, you start to liven up. right? When you move with the rhythms of your own heart, even your own circadian rhythms, it adds to your energy, it adds to your strength. And I think a lot of us right now especially are just so bowled over and worn out and exhausted from trying to live up to a dance beat that doesn't suit us. Exactly, no more dumbing yourself down. We just talked about this the other night, right? Um, it's like not dumbing things down to make them acceptable to others or to make so that others will understand. It's like instead of lowering your own frequency, your own expectations, etc., draw other people up, right? Um, like when I've kept a blog for many years, and I haven't been upkeeping it very well in the last few years. But when I do, like when I write or when I draw my comics, I'm a cartoonist as well. Some of you might not know. But a lot of times I purposely use like bigger words or obscure words. I love using obscure words. I love language. Like if I had to go back to college again, I would still probably be an art major, but I would probably double that with an English major. So I love language. I love words. And I purposely will use obscure words or obscure concepts in order to engage curiosity from the readers, and because I do that when I'm reading something, there's a word I don't know, I Google it, I look it up. I still have a physical dictionary next to where I sit, and I love learning new things. I love learning new words. I love expanding. And if we're not helping other people expand to meet us, we're not doing them any good either. And so let your true spirit show, right? Let your true colors, as outrageous as they may seem to other people, you're giving others permission to be that as well. Like that quote from Marianne Williamson about there's nothing enlightened about playing small for the comfort of other people. When you, this is paraphrasing again, of course, but when you, how does it go? When you are unapologetically yourself, you give other people permission to do the same. And so honor yourself. Honor your own rhythm, your own frequency, right? The universe is thirsty for your frequency. And when we're not living up to our true frequency, to our true selves, etc., the universe is is thirsty for that. The universe is less well off without that. So, and if you're having to do things that lower your frequency, that make you exhausted, that drain you, then whatever you're doing is not serving anybody, right? The world needs you to be your whole, unadulterated, unfettered, wild self. And that's not to say that everyone will be like, woohoo, right? Because like I said earlier, we came here to change the world. We came here to make waves, to rock the boat, because things don't work in the world the way they've been set up to in our societies, right? It was a great experiment, but it's time for something new, which is why we have all incarnated at the same time on the same planet. And so know that even though you're finding your own rhythm, you are not alone. That by, it's like the old Sesame Street episodes where one person, like there's like a construction guy sawing something or whatever, like shoof, woof, 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 and someone else comes along, it's like doot, 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 and it like builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up, and each of those things supports all the other ones, right? That's how you find your tribe. That's how you find your pace. That's how you find your dedication or your purpose in this life, is by supporting your own rhythm, right? Exactly. Courage is needed for the first step. It's that inertia, right? It's hard to get up from the couch, right? But once you get moving, it's like, oh, I can't believe I didn't get up to go for a walk earlier. But when you're on the couch, it's like, oh my God. There's an expansion of energy to get that initial lift off, right? I mean, a rocket is just going to sit there if you don't light the engines. So you have to light those engines, get that push off, whew. And then, it's an object in motion tends to remain in motion unless acted on by an unbalanced force. And if when you're truly moving on your own path under, when you're moving in that direction of joy, Spirit is carrying you. It becomes effortless, right? And so there's very little that can dissuade you when you're going your own way in your own pace and everything. If something pops up, it's like you bounce off. You're like, okay, I'm going to go this way now. Oh, and everything adds to your journey rather than, oh crap, they shut me down. Now I got to start all over again, right? It's no. You are always on your path, and everything, you have the ability. I heard Jeshua say it one time as the universe will use whatever is in front of you to bring you home. Because whatever is in front of you is still divine. If it's in this world, it's temporal, it's temporary. It is not permanent. And when we hit obstacles in our path, they can be either the obstacle is the path, getting over that obstacle, or the obstacle is divine intervention, divine detour, right? It's like, and that's what I was like just telling someone the other day about a lot of times, if I'm not sure if I should do something, or if I'm torn between choices, I'll make a decision. I'll say, okay, universe, I'm moving in this direction. If this is the highest good for everyone, open the path before me. If it is not, divert me in a different direction. use, like, the universe backs you up. The universe has your back. And everything is a message. The universe is constantly talking to us. It's just up to us to, you know, be open to asking those questions. Asking, okay, what is the highest good of this? Where do I go from here? How do I move forward in love from this point on? Because it's all divine, it's all perfect. So celebrate yourself. Celebrate the things that make you feel like celebrating. Love that you love cats. Love that you love plants. Because those that you are what you love. You're not what loves you. You are what you love. And when you love something else, when you love someone else, that love, that's you. You are feeling that. That doesn't originate from someone or something else. That is coming out of you. That is showing you who you are. So embrace what you love and celebrate what you love. Celebrate what makes you feel celebratory. Is that how you say that word? Celebratory. 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 That's how it is. All right? Whew. All right. So it looks like only one more card. We're just going to have 5 tonight. So card number 5 for Renee. Okay, what did I do here? All right. You're welcome, Sylvia. Renee, I had 5 cards fall out of the deck. So usually if it's 1 or 2, you know, or 3 even. Well, okay, we're going to go with it. So card number 5 is actually 5 cards. I'm just going to go over them brief, probably not a big long, because this is basically a full hour-long reading. Like when I do readings for people, it's 5 cards. So I'm just going to touch on them. So we have, the first card we have is Bear in reverse. And Bear is introspection. And if this was an actual full reading, Bear is in the east, which is air, so the mental realm. And so in reverse, there's a need for introspection. There's a need from there's a need for kind of shutting out the outside world and turning inward. You know, I know for myself, I've realized a lot lately that I've been taking in too much information from the outside world, and I haven't been expressing enough. I've been working on it. I've been drawing and writing more than I was. Still not up to where is probably optimal, but I'm getting there. But it might be a time to turn inward, to seek your own counsel, to turn off the world, go in the cave, and actually rest. Give yourself a break. You've been at it too hard, and it's time to rest, right? The next one is Rabbit. So card two of 5. almost like 7 of 9. Card 2 of 5 is Rabbit. And Rabbit is about, well, in the book, it's fear, which I don't like to make that the message of Rabbit. What Rabbit basically is mindfulness. The story being that, you know, you call to yourself what you're thinking about. And there's the story with Rabbit hopping through the woods. An eagle flies over, and Rabbit's like, "Eagle, I'm so afraid of you, don't come eat me." And the eagle didn't hear him. So he jumps up on a log, starts waving his paws in the air, saying, "Eagle, Eagle, I'm really scared. Don't eat me. Please, please don't eat me." And the eagle hears the rabbit the second time, swoops down and eats the rabbit. And so it's kind of like you call to yourself those things, whatever you focus on. Like when you're afraid of something, when there's something you're dreading, you call that to yourself by focusing on it. And it kind of, I guess it kind of goes full circle with what I was talking about earlier about pivoting. It's like when there's something that comes up that is scary or anxious or whatever, instead of buying into it and going into that and trying to fix that feeling, hey Gage, you're in luck. We're gonna go late now, but I have one spot left. So we're on card number 5. You're number 6, Gage. So and card number 5 has 5 cards. So I'm but anyway, so focus on what you want, not on what you don't want, and realize too that your path is not the straight and narrow. Like, you know, we talk about our spiritual paths like a linear, like, you know, there's a destination and we're going straight for it. Your path, like Rabbit, runs in a zigzag, right? And when I was doing a reading for someone, I was telling them that in my head I was watching Rabbit zigzag, and all of a sudden in my head, Rabbit became this needle pulling a thread. And I realized that zigzag is Rabbit sewing things together, like I was talking earlier about being your unique person, who you came here to be, unique from anyone who ever was or ever will be. And you bring together things that no one else has ever connected. Like your life is that zigzag sewing together, bringing things together that no one else ever has. And so you're a bridge, you're a connector. You bridge things that people don't normally connect. So you make people think. And that is one of the great services that you bring to this world. Because I don't want to be the first one to tell you this, you're not normal. None of us are. And so again, like the earlier card, it's like celebrate your uniqueness, because that's what the world wants. People are waiting to hear your perspective on things. Then the next card, 3 of 5, is Raccoon. And Raccoon, when Raccoon pops up, it's usually about service. It's like Raccoon to me is kind of the Robin Hood of the animal kingdom. And that he's, number one, he's got the mask, he's the noble thief, right? When they go foraging for food, they get their food and they bring it home and make sure everybody eats, right? And so it's kind of this, you know, and they're rascally. They do not have rules. They don't just not follow the rules. They don't recognize rules. They'll do whatever they need to do to get something, right? And so there's this sense of in a way, it's kind of like knowing the rules so well that you find the loopholes or you find the way around them. And there's this rascally abandon that goes with Raccoon, kind of like I picture Robin Hood, stand and deliver as the, priests or monks are marching by, or the prince or the nobleman, and this is his joy, right? So his joy benefits others. So it's not, again, it's not a sacrifice in like giving up part of who you are to toe the line, to do the right thing, to make sure people are okay. This is about answering your own inner call. Stand and deliver, right? And being joyful in what you do, because that joy is an intricate part of the gift you have for the world. And gifts are so much more powerful when they're given from a place of joy. Because giving from joy is giving from power. And it's so the service is not, oh, have pity on the poor, have pity on the sick. It's recognizing and pulling them up to your level and recognizing, it's like the namaste thing, right? The divine in me greets the divine in you. And it's like seeing the divine in every person, seeing the value, right? Robin Hood saw the poor and saw how it wasn't their fault, and that everyone has a right to eat and to drink and to be safe, right? And it was his joy to make it happen. So follow your joy and watch it benefit those around you, okay? The number 4 of 5 is Wolf reversed. And if I was reading this as a full reading again, that would be in the north, which is the earth plane. So it's the physical world, kind of how things are presented. And Wolf is the teacher, right? The wolf pack always has the scouts that go out ahead of the pack to see what the landscape is like, to find like the best places to ford the streams, the best places for plentiful game, etc., etc. And then they come back to the pack and teach the pack what to expect. They're the trailblazers, right? That's you. In reverse, it could be a sense of, it's interesting that it's bear and wolf that are reversed. And it's almost like wolf, like canines tend to be seen as masculine, right? And so wolf is the like divine masculine, right? But where does wolf get his power? Grandmother Moon, the divine feminine. So when wolf is upright, it's like this beautiful balance between feminine and masculine. He makes manifest his inspiration from the divine feminine, right? So in reverse, there can be a feeling of being kind of cut off from that inspiration, cut off from that intuition. And so you're just kind of running all over the place, trying to figure things out. And that's why this is so important, that introspection, to go back inside yourself and to find and open up that channel to spirit, so that everything you do is inspired action, inspirited action. And that is how you do that service, right? And so I'm guessing there may be a little like, and I know I'm going through some of this too, like this kind of like floundering, not sure what way to go, what direction to go in, what to do, etc., etc. And so when there is no clear path forward, it's time to rest. It is time to go inward, reality check, and get that guidance, get that direction from the inside out, not the outside in, right? And then card number 5 of 5 we had earlier is squirrel. And again, it's like squirrel is play, squirrel is joy. Squirrel is abundance, but not like the one-stop shopping of buffalo. Squirrel is that overwhelming faith and knowingness that the universe always provides, right? And so squirrel can take one acorn at a time and bury that acorn, opening his arms to receive the next acorn, returning that to the earth. And so it's the flow of abundance. It's being open, that surrendering. Open your arms to receive, right? Right now it might be feeling blocked because there's a little inner work, a little trusting, a little bit releasing boundaries or barriers that are keeping you boxed in, that are preventing you from accessing that higher wisdom. But once you have that, it's like your resources are everywhere. I haven't got to your card gauge. I'm just about to. Because when you're living, when you play, right? If you missed the first part of this video, go back. I think it was the second card. I think this was card number 2, and I went into a whole bunch about joy. And so this fits perfectly with all of these, right? It's like being your own joyful self. When you live in joy, you like problems and issues are lower frequency down here. And when you live in joy, you're up here, so that you have a higher perspective and you have more options. You see from a bigger picture, and these issues tend to either be taken care of, or you have access to more resources, like squirrel, to take care of, so that those aren't issues anymore, right? So in a nutshell, be joyful, be good to yourself, give yourself grace. You're not lost. You're not off your path. It's time to rest. It's time to regroup, to recalibrate, and really connect to that divine spirit within you that does know the way, right? And once you can touch that again, it's like that path will open up to you. And so, as much as you can, feel the joy right now. Think of things that bring you joy. Think of the people you love, or the things you want to do, like who did you want to be when you grow up? And just keep picturing yourself, whatever it takes to bring joy to your heart, because that is how you raise your frequency. Okay? So I hope that's helpful. I know I kind of had to skim over most of those, but I hope that it seems to me to be kind of a coherent story between all 5 of those. All right, card number 6 for Gage. Huh. All right, Gage, card number 6 is boar, wild boar. When boar comes up, you are in the process of leveling up. Boar, again, like with rabbit, I mentioned rabbit earlier, how the word in the book that comes with the cards is fear, and the word that comes with boar is conflict, which I don't really, I prefer to at least put it in a different context, in that um, there may be conflict right now, but it's like we were talking earlier with Sylvia's card about inertia, right? There's a certain resistance when you start a new path, or when you're moving from one state to the next. There needs to be some extra boost of energy, and boar is about initiation, rite of passage, in numerous indigenous cultures around the planet. Killing a wild boar is the rite of passage into adulthood, because boar is probably the fiercest animal on the planet. They are unpredictable. When they're threatened, they go into this bloodlust, and they literally go insane. They just start spinning in circles and slashing with their tusks and their hooves. And like a tiger will see a boar coming down the path, and the tiger will turn tail and go the other way. And so when you're on a boar hunt for a rite of passage, part of that initiation is the idea that you may not survive, right? But it's about facing those fears, facing those inner demons, and walking forward anyway. And like the way I think of boar, boar is kind of the fear, like we live, if we live, like we each have our own kind of reality bubble, right? We live within this certain bubble of reality, things that we accept, that are real, that, and then around that is kind of a ring of fear, right? If you want to think of it as the comfort zone, and then there's like this ring of fear, ring of conflict, the thing like fear, things that we don't want to face or don't want to do, etc. And like when we're growing up, that's a handy thing. Like the whole idea, like, well, don't cross the street without an adult present, right? Well, if if you're a full-grown adult and you're still looking for another adult to walk with you across the street, something is developmentally wrong there, right? And so I see boar as kind of the guardian. He's the one that patrols around the edge of our reality, keeping us safe within that area that we're growing in. But eventually we outgrow that circle of reality, and we have to push against those fears. We have to face those demons or those fears, because we can't be contained within that circle anymore, right? And that's when boar, rather than being the patrol that keeps us safe, boar becomes the gatekeeper. We have to face boar. As scared as we might be, we have to keep walking forward, because our fears become, the more we don't look at our fears, the bigger, more shadowy, more powerful they are, the bigger effect they have on us of keeping us small. And anything you can face, you can handle. Even if you're quaking in your boots, if you can face it, you can handle it. You are greater than anything you can fear. You are a spirit having a human experience. not a human having a spiritual experience. Your very essence is divine light and love that is the fabric of the universe. You are eternal. There is nothing that can take you out. And so there is nothing that can stand before you in this lifetime that can destroy you. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm saying that in the best way. But anyway, just by facing Boar, you're already taking some of your power back. Um, and Boar is not there as a test, as you know, like the boss in a video game. We think the boss is there to kill us, you know, to send us back or whatever. But the boss is there to make sure we have all the wisdom we need, the tools we need, the skills we need to move forward onto the next level. And if we don't, he sends us back so that we can gain that wisdom and tools and whatever. And then we can pass through safely. And then we basically become Boar. And when I say that, what I mean is like taking on that confidence. It's like the whole idea of learning karate so that you don't need to use it. You know, because once you know how to handle yourself, once you know how to take care of yourself in any situation, you just carry yourself different. Your energy is different. And so you automatically draw to yourself different situations rather than the ones that are going to keep picking at you or people that are going to make fun of you or challenge you, etc. And people who might normally challenge you or make fun of you see you counter like, oh my God, I'm not messing with him. It's like you have that presence that others just instinctively know not to mess with. So, and the fact that he's upright means that you're taking it on, that you're leveling up with a courageousness and grace that most people don't have. And it's like there is nothing that can hold you back from becoming who you are becoming. There's a certain fearlessness to you where rather than it being, oh crap, it's kind of like, oh boy, right? Challenge accepted. You might not know how you're going to get through it, but you know you're going to get through it. And just that sense of that, just that believing that you have within you what you need to get through whatever it is, opens the door for those things to arrive when you need them. You might not have those skills or that wisdom or anything before you do that, but all of a sudden, like something comes up and you know exactly what to do. And suddenly you just, it's like, it's like you suddenly have always known what to do. A second earlier, you had never known, and all of a sudden, it's like that arrives. It's like, oh, I've always known how to do this. I've always known who I was or what I needed to do. Does that make sense? So, and you champion others. Like when you face those fears and those limitations and those inner demons, you're not doing it just for yourself. You're a way shower. And other people see you. Other people are inspired by you. Your courage actually encourages others. Yeah. And you're definitely not boring. Sorry. Yeah, so good on you. It's not easy where you are, but it's like for me, when I can see the purpose in something, or when I know, even if I can't see what will come of it, just knowing that there's purpose in it helps make me more comfortable with the discomfort, if you know what I mean. And so even the things that hurt, or even the things that are uncomfortable, that maybe stretch you a little bit further than you've ever stretched before, that's you expanding into who you were meant to be. And that uncomfortable stretch is what will become normal. So it's no longer uncomfortable, right? It's like you stretch into something that's uncomfortable, but it's actually more of an unfolding into who you were always meant to be, right? So I hope that makes sense. I'm glad you were here. So we had actually six cards tonight. So I'm going to pull one more card for our collective totem for the week. This is the totem that is walking with all of us, kind of our joint purpose or our joint guidance for the week. And while I am shuffling, just to remind you that thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. And to please share my video. I'm trying to expand my voice, which I've had to move outside of my comfort zone and moved from Facebook Live to YouTube Live. So here I am, boring. And you can help me by sharing my video to introduce me to more people, to widen my audience. And also, please remember, if you haven't already, to subscribe to my channel and to like my videos, to hit the bell or whatever, because that affects the algorithms and makes my videos more available to more people. So it's kind of a win-win situation. I just said that, Sylvia, just a reminder to like and share the video to everyone who is still here. Thank you for your presence. And know that beyond these videos, I am available for personal readings and healings and teachings. You can visit my website, perchingwolfstudios.net. You can find out more about me. You can peruse the different shamanic services I offer, readings and teachings and healings, oh my. I do full reading, like hour-long readings. I do shamanic healing, like soul retrievals and fairy doctoring, all kind of with Reiki and other things kind of woven through. And I also teach classes. I don't have anything at the moment. I'm working on that. but I also take on one-on-one mentoring students. So if you're looking for a teacher, you've just had an awakening, don't know which way to go, I would be honored to help you find your own unique path, to find your heart path, to help, not to necessarily be your guide, but to help you discover your own guidance, to literally connect you to your own spirit guides. Um, I also have links on there to um, order my comics and graphic novels and a couple of coloring books that I've done. Um, so lots of good stuff there to check out. What am I forgetting? Oh, and if you enjoyed tonight, or if you enjoy my videos and you wish to reciprocate in a different way, I have my PayPal and Venmo links in the description under the video. This is my day job, so this is my living, and so anything you give is received with so much gratitude, and I so appreciate the support of my community that I support, right? So thank you for anything you wish to give. It really means a lot to me. I love my job. I love doing this. And every little bit I get helps me to be able to continue helping people in this way. So thank you. I think that's it for announcements. So let me pull our last card. Okay. Our collective card for the week. Grouse reversed. Value yourself. Dance. Like they say, dance like no one's looking. Be unapologetically your best self. Let your true colors show. To thine own self be true. Find your own rhythm. Okay? And dance. Know that it is in joy that you are the most connected and the most powerful you can be in support of the rest of the universe. That we think the universe is vast, and what could I possibly do to affect the universe or to be value in this infinite expanse. And at the same time, the universe is a giant hologram, which means in a hologram, every portion of the hologram contains the entire image. Like if you are familiar with those, there were these bookmarks going around in the 80s that had like leaping dolphins or Mother Mary or whatever. It was like, and they were holographic. They were like three-dimensional, even though they were flat. And if you took one of those bookmarks and cut them, say, into 3 pieces, you would have 3 complete images. You didn't just have this portion of the image and then the middle portion of the image and then this side of the image. Each one had the entire image because every part of a hologram contains the entire image. In other words, you are the entire universe within yourself. The universe would not exist without you. In fact, it is your perceptions that brings the universe into reality. That's how important you are. You cannot undervalue your importance. Now, you're not more important than anyone else, but neither is anyone else in the cosmos more important than you. So, celebrate yourself. Celebrate the things that make you celebratory. Yeah, I got it right. Revel. Revel in yourself. Revel in the things you love. Revel in the things that bring you joy. That those are the things of truth. Um, and from that joy is where you can see a higher perspective, to see more resources, etc., etc. So dance. It is time to dance. Celebrate. You are amazing. You are perfect just the way you are. You are perfect just the way you are. I like you for who you are. It's you I like. It's not the clothes you wear. You are perfect the way you are. There is no room for shame. There is no room for guilt. You are spirit having a human experience. Dance, people. Dance. All right? Whew. All right. Thank you again. Thank you for everyone who stuck with me through the whole I keep trying to get done in like an hour and a half, but it never works. So thank you to everyone, the perseverance to stick with me the entire way. Thank you for everyone, um, for your love and support, for sharing my video, for any donations, etc. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. It means the world to me. You mean the world to me. I so appreciate you taking the time and the energy to spend this time with me. So thank you. I hope to see you next week. Invite your friends, share my video, and until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right, bye now.